So imagine for a second that you're finally making the leap. You're trading the corporate boardroom, the endless status meetings, the quarterly reviews, all of that internal politics. You are cashing out your chips.
Right. Getting out of the rat race.
Exactly. To invest in a piece of a $10 billion recession-resistant industry. But the asset you're buying into, it isn't some flashy sauce startup, right? It isn't a boutique fitness franchise. It is, believe it or not, junk removal.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a punchline right up until you look at the balance sheets.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that transition, from white-collar corporate leadership to the absolute trenches of the service industry, it's one of the most consistent wealth-building pathways operating under the radar today.
And that's exactly what we're looking at in today's deep dive. We want to unpack why sophisticated white-collar investors are pouring millions into this space. Specifically, we're looking through the lens of a brand called Junkluggers, who are somehow turning hauling garbage into this highly scalable premium asset.
They really are.
And the psychology behind this is what initially caught my eye. Waste management overall, I mean, that's a $75 billion overarching market. Junk removal is a $10 billion slice of that pie. But why are corporate professionals eyeing an exit or, multi-unit investors looking for their next expansion? Why are they focusing their capital here?
Well, it fundamentally comes down to what sophisticated wealth actually looks for in an operating business. Experienced investors, they do not look for glamour.
Right. Glamour usually means astronomical customer acquisition costs.
Exactly. And fickle, rapidly changing consumer trends. Instead, they look for immense, unavoidable demand. They look for highly fragmented markets. And above all, they look for a scalable operational system.
Because right now you have a market currently dominated by independent, unbranded operators, essentially, a guy with a pickup truck and a cell phone.
Right, exactly. So the immediate thesis is that a professionalized, branded operation instantly captures market share just by, showing up on time in a clean uniform.
Just doing the bare minimum of customer service, really.
Yeah. But Junkluggers takes that professionalization several steps further, which is where their market capture really accelerates. To understand their growth, you have to look at the core driver of the demand itself.
Which is that we all just own way too much stuff.
Yes. Americans are facing a very specific modern epidemic. We simply have too much stuff and nowhere near enough time to deal with it. Consumers are overwhelmed by clutter, and the traditional solution has always been incredibly crude.
Right. The traditional model being you rent a dumpster, you throw everything into it, and a truck hauls it straight to a local landfill to be bulldozed into the earth.
Just a purely transactional, high-volume disposal method.
Yeah, and Junkluggers has circumvented that entirely by positioning itself as an eco-friendly, premium concierge service. Their stated mission, and this is a structural cornerstone of their business, is to eliminate 100% of waste from landfills by the year 2025.
Which is a massive goal.
It is. And look, I'm looking at this 100% landfill-free goal, and structurally, from an investor standpoint, that sounds like a logistical nightmare.
Oh, sure, it sounds like it would be.
Right, because if I'm operating a fleet and I'm paying a driver $25 an hour to sit in traffic, driving to 3 different local charities just to offload a single sectional couch, my labor costs are going to eat my profit margins alive.
That's the immediate fear, yeah.
So how does the franchisor actually prevent this, this green mission from bankrupting the local franchisee?
It's a critical question because if the unit economics don't work, the mission is entirely irrelevant. The answer lies in how they manage their routing and their local partnerships.
Okay, so it's not just guys driving around hoping to find an open goodwill.
No, not at all. It's not just drivers aimlessly looking for a drop-off. The franchisor has built a highly structured operational model around sustainable disposal. The software and the standard operating procedures route them to designated local donation partners first, then to specific recycling centers, and the landfill is only authorized as the absolute last resort.
Oh, wow. So they're essentially building a localized reverse supply chain.
Exactly. And the counterintuitive insight here is that by slightly slowing down the disposal process to sort and recycle, they actually accelerate their path to profitability.
Wait, really? How does slowing down increase profits?
Because that exact friction, the sorting, the repurposing, the rehoming, is what allows them to charge premium rates. You completely remove yourself from a price war with the independent guy on Craigslist.
Ah, I see. Because the consumer psychology completely flips.
Precisely. You're changing the fundamental nature of the transaction.
The customer goes from feeling like they are paying for trash removal, which let's be honest, is a grudge purchase, something you resent having to pay for, to feeling like they are actively funding a charitable, sustainable act in their own community.
Yes. And the brand closes that psychological loop brilliantly. Within 14 days of the service, the customer actually receives a tax-deductible donation receipt.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
and it explicitly lists the local charities that benefited from their specific items.
Talk about a phenomenal retention and referral tool. I mean, the customer gets their garage back, they get the emotional high of keeping a sofa out of a landfill, and they get a tangible financial benefit when tax season rolls around.
It completely justifies the premium pricing model.
It really does. And the pricing itself is designed to build trust up front, right? Customers only pay based on the volume of truck space their items actually use, which is backed by a firm on-site estimate.
Right. If the items take up less cubic footage in the truck than originally estimated, the customer pays less. It is a highly transparent system that builds immense community goodwill.
Okay, so if this eco-friendly angle and the transparent pricing model are driving that much conversion, the immediate bottleneck for an owner becomes capacity.
Always.
Right. How does an owner actually absorb that demand and scale the operation? Because one of the most attractive elements of this model is the lack of commercial real estate constraints. You aren't signing a 10-year personal guarantee lease on a retail storefront every time you want to increase your revenue ceiling.
No, your real estate essentially has four wheels. That is the beauty of a service-based fleet model. You scale your capacity by adding another truck and a couple of employees to your territory.
Which is so much simpler.
It allows for highly dynamic growth. And because of their service speed, I mean, they offer highly desirable same-day and next-day service options with very strict 2-hour arrival windows.
Yeah.
That fleet is constantly moving, generating revenue rather than sitting idle.
Let's break down exactly what that fleet is doing on a daily basis, because the revenue streams are remarkably diverse. On the B2C side, the residential work, it's much more complex than just hauling away old appliances, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. They are deeply integrated into major, often unavoidable life transitions. They handle estate cleanouts, senior downsizing, and sensitive situations like hoarding cleanups.
And those life transition services require a level of empathy and professionalism that traditional haulers simply do not possess.
Right. When a family is dealing with the estate of a past relative or moving an aging parent into assisted living, they are in a highly emotional, stressed state.
Yeah, they don't want a loud transactional crew dragging boots through the house.
Exactly. They want the premium caring concierge service. That is where the brand training really pays dividends.
That residential demand is incredibly consistent. But as I analyze the mechanics of this, the B2B side, the commercial revenue streams, that looks like the actual gold mine for multi-unit wealth creation.
It is the hidden gem of the whole operation.
Right. If I'm a sophisticated operator, I want predictable, recurring revenue. I don't want to rely solely on homeowners waking up and deciding today is the day they finally clean the attic.
Commercial accounts are the bedrock of multi-unit expansion. The trucks are servicing banks, credit unions, construction sites, retail stores, manufacturing facilities, and senior living communities.
Property management alone seems like a massive vertical.
Oh, it's huge.
I mean, think about a regional property manager overseeing a dozen apartment complexes. They have a perpetual need for abandoned units to be cleared out or communal storage areas to be purged every single month.
And this paints a very clear picture of what a typical day looks like for a franchise owner. You have to realize you are not buying a job where you are putting on work gloves and hauling junk.
Right, you're not the one in the truck.
Exactly. You are building a B2B sales organization. You are the CEO of a local logistics company. Your daily focus is developing long-term vendor relationships with local bank managers, construction foremen, and regional property directors.
Which brings up the most glaring operational risk in any home service or logistics business right now, which is driver retention.
The labor market.
Yeah, the blue-collar labor shortage is a massive headwind across the entire economy. If I'm an investor evaluating this, I'm immediately calculating the cost of truck downtime because I can't keep reliable drivers staffed. So how does this model address the labor challenge?
It's a systemic issue across the board. But this is where the eco-friendly mission actually functions as an operational shield.
Really? How so?
Think about the labor pool. A driver can go work for a traditional junk company, doing backbreaking work just to fill a landfill. Or They can work for a branded professional organization where the physical labor is tied to a community mission.
Ah,
It are actively sorting donations, interacting with local charities, and keeping waste out of the ground.
it elevates the job from basic manual labor to purpose-driven logistics.
Exactly. It attracts a higher caliber of employee. The mission-driven culture significantly reduces turnover compared to industry averages, which directly protects the owner's profit margins by minimizing hiring and retraining costs.
That makes a lot of sense. So we understand the market demand, the premium positioning, and the labor strategy. But the ultimate variable in franchise evaluation is the franchisor's infrastructure.
The support system.
Right. What are they actually providing to justify the ongoing royalty fees? Because if I am acting as the CEO out in the field securing those B2B property management contracts, the biggest bottleneck to my growth is going to be administrative overhead, specifically answering inbound calls.
In any home service business, a missed call is a lost customer, period.
Absolutely.
If a consumer is searching online for immediate removal and you don't answer, they do not leave a voicemail. They click the very next link on their search results.
And the franchisor has completely eliminated that bottleneck through a centralized corporate-run call center, right? It's described as a fully managed inbound scheduling system.
Yes. For a semi-absentee owner or an owner-operator focused on scaling to multiple territories, that infrastructure is invaluable. It completely detaches your revenue from your ability to personally man the phones.
The mechanism there is fascinating. A customer finds the local branch online, they call the corporate number, a highly trained sales agent answers, and they book the job directly into the local owner's calendar via an API integration with the local fleet's routing software.
It's essentially 100% done for you.
So the owner could be interviewing a new operations manager or pitching a construction firm, and their schedule is passively filling up with residential jobs. It allows the owner to focus purely on culture, hiring, and high-level expansion.
And that infrastructure extends deeply into marketing and national accounts, too. The franchisor is actively securing national B2B partnerships that instantly boost a local owner's customer base.
That is a massive risk mitigation factor. You can open your territory on day one and potentially already have a pipeline of commercial work simply because the franchisor holds a master service agreement with a national retail chain or a major property management firm that operates in your zip code.
Exactly. They also provide targeted marketing campaign support, handling the heavy analytical lifting, the design, the media planning, and the tracking of customer acquisition costs. And this is where we have to discuss the corporate muscle behind the brand, because they are part of the Authority brand's portfolio.
Right, let's unpack why that matters. Because for someone transitioning from the corporate world, they might see a parent company portfolio and wonder how that translates to unit-level economics. Why does private equity backing and a massive parent company actually benefit the local franchise operating trucks in Ohio or Texas?
It comes down to enterprise leverage. When a brand is backed by an entity the size of Authority Brands, which manages a massive portfolio of home service companies, the local owner is no longer operating on an island. You are tapping into the purchasing power of a massive enterprise.
So it directly impacts the bottom line through economies of scale.
Precisely. It means you are securing fleet pricing for your trucks that an independent operator could never negotiate. It means access to cheaper master policy insurance rates.
Oh, that's huge.
It is. It means tapping into enterprise-level digital marketing data, where the parent company knows exactly how much a click should cost in every single zip code across the country, removing all the guesswork from your local ad spend.
That level of systematic support is exactly why existing successful franchise owners in other systems look at this specific brand for multi-unit portfolio expansion. The operational complexity is systematically outsourced to the franchisor.
And you get 8 weeks of extensive training and a dedicated business coach for the life of the business.
Incredible. And the financials certainly reflect that leverage. Currently, there are roughly 135 units in the system. When you look at the actual unit economics in their Item 19, which is the financial performance representation in the franchise disclosure document, it shows year-over-year double-digit growth across every single unit in their system.
Every single unit experiencing double-digit growth year over year is a phenomenal indicator. It validates not just the sheer size of the consumer demand, but the efficacy of the operating system itself. It proves the routing algorithms, the call center, and the premium pricing model are functioning properly across diverse geographic markets.
So let's look at the actual capital requirements to launch this vehicle. The total initial investment ranges from roughly $96,000 up to about $419,000.
And that variance obviously depends heavily on the scale you are launching with.
Right, the number of trucks, the specific territory size. To qualify financially, a candidate needs a net worth of $250,000 and $75,000 in liquid cash.
Which is very accessible for this demographic.
Hmm.
The ongoing fees are very standard for a highly supported home services model, a 7% royalty fee, and a 2% national advertising fee operating on a 10-year renewable franchise agreement.
And one detail that really stands out regarding their growth strategy, they offer a massive 30% discount on the initial franchise fee for veterans.
Which is an incredibly strategic move on the franchisor's part. Veterans possess the exact skill set required to scale this model.
Oh, absolutely.
They understand complex logistics, they are comfortable operating strictly within standard operating procedures, and they know how to build a unified, mission-driven culture among a team operating in a dynamic environment. They make exceptional fleet and operations managers.
It's a perfect alignment of skills and operational needs. Well, we have covered a massive amount of ground today, analyzing the mechanics of a business that most people drive past without a second thought. Let's synthesize the leverage this model offers. You are looking at a $10 billion slice of a recession-resistant industry.
An industry that isn't going anywhere.
Right. It has been modernized by a highly scalable, eco-friendly business model that perfectly aligns with modern consumer psychology and premium pricing. And it is entirely underpinned by an enterprise-level franchisor that handles the inbound appointment scheduling, secures national B2B accounts, and provides massive purchasing power.
It takes an industry that many sophisticated investors might initially overlook due to its blue-collar nature and applies a highly refined, white-collar wealth-building framework to it. The trucks are simply the mechanism. The actual business is logistics, sales, and organizational leadership.
It is the ultimate marriage of essential service and scalable strategy. If you are mapping out your own exit strategy from the corporate world or looking for your next multi-unit expansion, getting the right advice is paramount.
And as you evaluate your next capital allocation, I want to leave you with a broader macroeconomic trend to consider. We discussed their operational mission to keep 100% of waste out of landfills by 2025. Consider how the rising tide of conscious consumerism is actively redefining traditional service industries.
It's changing everything.
It really is. As local municipalities face dwindling landfill space and environmental legislation inevitably tightens over the next decade, eco-logistics models like this might not just remain a competitive advantage.
Right, they could become the norm.
Exactly. The routing software and donation partnerships we discussed today might become the mandatory, highly regulated industry standard. When that regulatory shift happens and the independent operators are priced out of the market by compliance costs, are you positioned to absorb their market share?
A fascinating, highly pragmatic question to end on. From the confines of the corporate boardroom to the dynamic front lines of eco-logistics, the landscape of wealth creation is constantly shifting beneath our feet. Until next time, keep digging into the mechanics of the market, keep questioning the traditional models, and keep looking for the generational opportunities hiding in plain sight.